Josh, welcome back to the show, man.
How you doing today, sir?
Can't complain. It looks like you are back at home.
I am. I've actually been home, but I've been in the turkey woods close to home. So yesterday was actually the last day. Yesterday evening, I closed it down by sitting on a roost, and bittersweet, dude. They whooped our ass all day. We were in turkeys all day, but we were trying to ambush them on their way to roost yesterday evening, and the two longbeards we were after pitched up from about 100 yards and flew up above us, and that was the end of that. They won.
So it's been a long season. Where did you start?
I started in Nebraska, uh, end of March, and then from there just continued on down the road. Ended up hunting 8 states this year.
Okay, and what were the states?
I hunted Nebraska, South Carolina, Texas, South Dakota, Montana, North Dakota, and here at home in Minnesota and Wisconsin. So
Hmm.
some new ones, some trusty old ones, and it was awesome, dude. It was great. We had a good time.
So how many states at this point have you killed a turkey in?
My goal this year was to get over the hump, as I was calling it. So um, North Dakota brought me to 25. So I'm over the hump of the
Hmm.
49. It's all downhill from here. No, actually, the all the hardest stuff is still ahead of me, unfortunately.
Yeah. So because I mean I love turkey hunting, but I pretty much stick to home for that. I went to Tennessee last year, got my first Eastern. But I mean, I shot 3 Rios in Texas, and I had an interesting conversation with our Texas Parks and Wildlife Turkey Program leader, Jason Harden, about a month ago. You know, what he told me, dude. He told me the average turkey hunter kills one turkey in Texas. That's it. And he was like, well, how often do you kill all four of your birds? And I'm like, maybe like every third or fourth year. I usually get about three. He's like, there you go. Most people kill one. He goes, like, I think he said 15% killed two. And then once you get to three and four, you're now at less than 5% of turkey hunters. Because we were talking about, we've got declining populations. Texas hasn't been as affected. But he's like, I said, so, obvious question, why wouldn't we just lower the bag limit? He goes, well, that doesn't affect, that's how we got on the topic. He's like, it doesn't affect the overall turkey population because less than 5% of the people are killing those extra birds. So it's in the grand scheme of population density, it doesn't affect anything. So why would I want to limit your opportunity if you're a hardcore turkey hunter? Which
Yep,
I thought was a great answer.
it is a great answer. Yeah, and that's we all wish it was as simple as like, oh, lower the bag limit or allow this style of hunting or ban this style of hunting or this or that. And way more to it. I know Texas is usually more influenced by rainfall than anything, just
Yep.
on any given annual basis. But like Wisconsin is a great example. It's a quota system, so it's split into units. Each unit has a certain number of tags that are allocated. Been doing it this way for a long, long time, and we kill an insane number of turkeys. And we continue to kill an insane number of turkeys because fortunately we have a lot of hunters. We give out a lot of tags, but there's a lot of turkeys because there's a shit ton of prime habitat. And I mean, yeah, obviously like predation is getting worse everywhere, but year after year of record level turkey harvests with a state that has the juice to support it. So, man, it's just different everywhere.
Hmm. Yeah, he described it as we're in like a 10-year drought cycle. And, we have, well, I mean, we got a lot of rain last year, but he's like, but we need like sustained rain for like 3 or 4 years. We can't just have one really good wet spring and then revert right back into drought for the next 3 to 4 years after that. So, and I asked him about reaping and its impact on population. He goes, it doesn't impact the population, man. He's like, what impacts the population is rain and prolonged droughts, like multiple years. He said, reaping, So we could ban it. Might make some people happy, but it's not going to affect. Like I said, if the guy's going to kill one turkey, whether he does it reaping or otherwise, doesn't matter.
Yeah. The only way that reaping influences the turkey population is distracting the community from the more important issues and wasting time talking about whether we should ban reaping or not. It's nonsense.
Mm.
The only merit that it holds are the safety implications. Um, and I know that I think there were a couple incidents this year, not surprisingly, but I've talked about this before, and I'm more than willing to change my opinion with new information. But reaping as a technique is the most effective under very certain circumstances. But most people who are involved in turkey hunting incidents are it's happening in the timber where reaping is probably least effective,
Mm.
and it's because people are mistaking movement or turkey calling or something else for a turkey, and they're shooting their friends and they're shooting other people on public land and this and that, and it's less a result of somebody crawling with a tail fan than it is somebody getting tunnel vision in close quarters where they associate movement with the turkey. Whereas you could actually argue the opposite for reaping. I'd say you're much less likely to get shot reaping than you are just moving around a little bit, sitting against a tree full camouflage with somebody stalking in on you in the timber. Reaping
Mm.
is most effective in open areas, open fields, where you have enough cover to slip in, but any hunter in the surrounding area, if he's paying any level of attention, should be able to see you, you know.
Right.
So yeah, I
Hmm.
have a lot of thoughts about that, but mainly I think it's a distraction. It's the last thing we should be worried about.
I've killed some 40 some odd turkeys, so a decent amount, right? Probably more than most people, not as many as some people. I've never reaped a turkey ever. I'm not. I've tried it, but I've tried it in, like on a sendero that was pretty narrow with mesquite on both sides. Never had it work for me, but I haven't tried it in an open field. We don't really do a ton of true open field hunting. The places that I hunt in Texas, anyway. But I don't know. I haven't like I wasn't blown away. Like, oh, here they said the turkey just loses his mind, and I'm sure there are circumstances where he does. But the few times I've tried it, nah. He could see me. He could see the fan.
Yeah,
I guess it was more fanning. I guess reaping involves technically hiding behind a decoy, a full strutter or whatever. I was just fanning, and yeah, you could see the turkey looking at me, but he didn't just be like, "Oh, I need to, haul ass over there into shotgun range." It's just not how he responded.
yeah, that's another part about that. The distinction between fanning and reaping, it because it has become such a topic of conversation, that then the nuances actually matter. So fanning is stationary, and you're basically using it like a decoy, and you're having the bird come to you. In my opinion, the line between fanning and reaping is when you begin to move toward the bird or crawl toward the bird. And ultimately, the whole goal is to get into his bubble where he wants to defend it, especially if he's with hens. And so it's that act of actually pursuing and moving toward the bird with a tail fan or with a decoy that constitutes reaping.
Mhm.
Fanning is just more of a stationary thing, and neither of them are. You do it enough, and neither of them are extremely effective. Just like anything else in turkey hunting, there aren't a lot of things that are extremely effective other than maybe shooting them over a corn feeder.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Deer hunting turkeys.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Actually, I mean, probably the most effective thing you can do is the most boring thing, and that's just patterning them and sitting in a ground blind and waiting for them to walk by, which is how a lot of people here, like up in the upper Midwest, still hunt because they learned how to turkey hunting or they learned how to turkey hunt using their deer tactics because
Hmm.
we don't have the decades and decades of turkey hunting culture and tradition like a lot of the southern states. So all the guys and gals up here pretty much were deer hunters, and they're like, "Oh, we got turkeys now. What do we do?" I see them in
Mhm.
this field. Okay, I'm gonna go sit in, and they call it a lot of people up here call their ground blinds a tent. So, oh, I'm gonna go sit in my tent, and eventually he'll walk by. And back to your thing about people in Texas only shooting an average of one bird, it does surprise me a little bit hearing that about Texas, but by and large, it doesn't surprise me. I mean, first of all, a lot of people still to this day, like turkey hunters have gotten way more effective, but there are still a lot of turkey hunters out there who aren't very good at it, and um, they just don't want to devote that much time to it. Like up
Yeah, I was
here,
gonna
it's
say I think maybe they have like if you're telling me passionate turkey hunters, let's say that's something that I would define a passionate turkey hunter. You're on the extreme end of the spectrum. But I would say if you go turkey hunting every spring, you're in the minority of people. Like
yeah,
if you don't miss a season, like no matter if it's just one weekend, one trip to the deer lease, whatever it is. If you don't miss a season, you're a pretty passionate turkey hunter. If you go every year, year after year, that guy he may or may not get a bird if he's there for one weekend. So that kind of tracks, and that I think is the majority. Even if we don't want to admit it, I think the majority of folks are not spending 3, 4 weekends a year turkey hunting.
yeah, certainly. It's almost like a, I don't know. For a lot of folks, it's kind of just a bonus in the spring. Like, oh, I get to go sit out there for a couple days and maybe hear a turkey gobble, maybe shoot one, maybe not.
Fill my
A lot of people.
feeders, do my chores, make a
Yeah,
trip out of it.
exactly.
Yeah.
Especially down there, like a lot of people, it's like, well, I'm gonna go to the camp or the cabin for the weekend. I guess I might as well get a turkey tag, and then
Hmm.
it's a lot of people don't even end up using it. But
No. Yeah. Well, so this leads to the next question. So I just don't understand the hate, the vitriol on social media about fanning and reaping. I think these people that are so against it, they claim that it's unethical because the turkey always comes in and it tips the scales in the hunter's favor to a degree that is not fair chase. They say it's not fair chase, and they also like to say, which I think is misinformative, that it affects turkey populations negatively.
yeah, it's I've seen a lot of that, and um, I don't know, man. I don't think the data is there to support that yet. Now, there is one side of it that I will openly condemn, but it's less about the technique and more about the content. And I could apply that to a lot of different things. But the video that went viral this spring of the guy who was I don't know if he was actually fanning or reaping. Either way, the gobbler came running in, he dropped it, and the gobbler pretty much just stood there, and the guy shot it at I don't know if it was 10 feet or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean that thing went absolutely ballistic online, and my buddy Alex Robinson, he's editor at Outdoor Life. That's who I was actually finishing my turkey season with yesterday. We hunted dark to dark together, and he wrote a really good piece about that and did a podcast episode for Outdoor Life. And he personally condemned it. And then he had a really nice debate with one of their other editors at Outdoor Life, Andrew McKean, in their podcast, and they kind of both had different viewpoints on it. But the optics of that video wasn't good,
Hmm.
and I'm just at this stage of my life. Everybody goes through their different stages of hunter development, and with that, what you enjoy for media consumption and whatnot. But when everything is boiled down to small moments in time now, every aspect of our life through social media with Reels and TikTok and all that kind of stuff, uh, what's happened with hunting has become kind of even more of a travesty. And I think that's especially true with turkey hunting because um, people people like to watch turkey hunting content and they like to see the shot. That's
Hmm.
fair. That's part of it. It's a very small part of it, just like any other type of hunting. But I feel like that's always been a little bit more glorified in turkey hunting. And now, like with that video that came out, um, the reason I have no respect for it and will condemn it is because it just doesn't look good, dude, and it doesn't feel like the nature of whoever put that out or what they were trying to convey, whether it was intentional or not. It doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel respectful of the bird.
Hmm.
It feels just glorifying that he just he offed this thing at close range and it was too stupid to leave. And I'll say the
But
same
that
thing.
adds fuel to the fire for those folks who claim reaping is like it's too easy because clearly that bird was
Exactly.
acting stupid. You know.
Most of these loud critics of reaping, that is their only taste of it they're getting is from video clips like that. You actually ask a lot of those people face to face how many times they've tried to pop a fan or approach turkey with a fan. You ask them how many times they've done it, let alone how many times they've been successful at it, and the room gets quiet pretty quick a lot of the time. Um, I've tried it. I've done it a number of times, and it's just as effective as anything else. It's just as effective as me sitting in the timber trying to call a bird up without a decoy, with a mouth call, I mean,
Hmm.
narrow it down to whatever you consider the most pure form of killing a turkey. In my experience, dozens of times in different parts of the country, different subspecies, different scenarios, different parts of the season, different flock dynamics, gobblers with hens, gobblers without hens, satellite gobblers, dominant gobblers. All these scenarios, I've tried it. It's just not, it's not overwhelmingly effective.
Mm.
And so a lot of the people who have these big opinions about it, they're getting them strictly from videos like that, and that's why videos like that aren't good. But more than that, like fundamentally, the reason I don't like a video like that is because it feels it feels the average person who watches it, it feels like it's not respecting the bird.
Mm.
And I feel the exact same way about these fucking slow-mo video clips everybody's running now of guillotines cutting turkeys' heads off. If that's your deal and you want to use guillotines to decap turkeys, by all means, it's the most effective, and I think it's really the only way to bow hunt them, to be honest with you. I think
Hmm.
body shooting turkeys is ludicrous with archery. I'm all about the technique. If anybody wants to bow hunt turkeys, that's for sure the best way to do it. Do we need to show millions of people a turkey getting its head sliced off in, 250 or 400 frames per second and
Mm,
only
Josh
showing that
Bomar
part of it?
does.
I'm not about it, man.
Yeah,
I'm
Tim
not
Wells
about it.
does, and I like Tim Wells, and I like Tim Wells' content. But I think
Yeah.
Tim Wells gets a grandfather pass because he's been showing that kind of stuff for 30 years before social media existed. I remember. Do you remember the Rage Broadhead commercial? 15 years ago, might have even been 20. It's Tim Wells. He's wearing like a caveman outfit, and he's like, Rage Broadheads. It's like throwing an axe through an animal. And it was like dinosaurs that he was
Yes.
pretending. Yes, dude, that was
Yeah.
awesome. You know, so I'm gonna give him a pass. But all the other ones, slowing it down frame by frame, watching the turkey's head lop off is yeah. I'll put it like this: I don't like, and this is really the only thing in Texas, the only place I've seen it. I don't necessarily. I giggle when someone sends me this video, and it's a dude sitting at a feeder, and he's got Tanner right there, and he blows up 10 hogs, and they just fly everywhere. Don't put that on social media.
No.
It didn't. I personally had no problem with it. It's not even illegal. That I understand. Now
Yeah.
you do come into maybe there's a cruelty to animals thing, but if they all die, like then there's not legally. Because I did talk to a game warden about it one time. Um, I don't have a problem if you want to do that. Don't film it and then put it on social media because it makes every hunter look like a literally the bloodthirsty redneck that the antis claim that we all are, which we are not.
Yeah, and there are some fine lines, and I'm not perfect. Nobody's perfect. Uh, I mean, a lot of this stuff also evolves with time, like you're talking about giving Tim Wells a pass. Okay, maybe, maybe not, but also the media landscape has evolved since he started putting that stuff out, and where it might have been more acceptable in the past, where people were choosing to go to the outdoor channel and choosing to see that kind of content on demand, not scrolling through a feed where your algorithm might serve you up something that you didn't ask for, let alone if you're a non-hunter, or if you're somebody who's on the fringe, or even if you are a hunter and you're maybe one step away from being turned off by it, whatever it is, like, dude, everything changes. Like,
Mm,
and
that's a good point.
ev- everything is nuanced. And if you can't accept that, then you're too stubborn. I mean, I might talk to you next year or in 2 years, and maybe my opinion will change on reaping if there's new information, or if somebody sways me and gives me an
Hmm.
opinion that you know might change my own opinion of it. But
The only thing that would change me is if you could prove here's some scientific data that's that unequivocally leads to the reality that reaping is affecting turkey populations. Other than that, I don't think you're changing my opinion. And while I've never killed a turkey reaping, if you do it, it does not bother me. That's the thing that I don't understand is like I get it from the anti-hunters. Yes, you have a emotional reaction to the fact that we're out there killing and eating animals and that we enjoy it and we smile when we do it. I get it. That irks you. But for it to bother another hunter, I don't understand it. But you know what their response is to that? Well, just because it's legal doesn't make it ethical. And shouldn't we be policing ourselves? Like, who are you?
yeah, it's
Holier than thou attitude? Like,
it gets
I mean, it's
dicey,
not.
man.
If it's poaching, then yeah, okay. Well, that's not even. I would say that's not even a hunter. That's a poacher. And yeah, we need to certainly call out what's unethical. I just don't agree that reaping is unethical. But that leads me to my next question, though, Josh. Where's the line of demarcation? Can I put a fan in a full strutter decoy and just sit there and use it as a decoy? Or is that now unethical too? Like that's the problem. Is like eventually we're all going to be sitting there with our back against a tree, and you know what? Then the guys are going to be saying, "You hunted with a diaphragm. You're supposed to just use your human mouth, and that's how
Yep.
you're supposed to call turkeys." That's I mean, like,
Yeah.
where does it end?
There, I don't think there is an end. So yeah, it's I don't know, man. I don't have a specific opinion on where any of those lines are drawn. And I do agree with, depending on the context, I do agree that just because something is legal doesn't necessarily mean we should do it. And I do agree in self-policing in certain circumstances, depending on the context. But yeah, this a lot of the stuff with turkey hunting is just it's going too far. It's going too far. Like, man, we need to go out, and people need to have fun doing this thing, or they're just not going to do it at all. It still needs to be fun. It still needs to have a community aspect to it. More than anything, there needs to be respect for the bird. Like, everybody goes through their stages when they're younger or when they're newer doing this kind of stuff. Um, I can't remember what the hierarchy is called, but I'm talking about the stages of hunter
Oh yeah,
development, where it goes from, oh, first you just want to have it. I don't know, remember exactly what they are, but pretty much it's like, well, first you just want to like have a crack at something, and you want to shoot something, and then there's like the limiting out stage where you want to fill every single possible tag or fill every limit that you possibly can, and then there's like the technique stage where you want to refine your technique and be more specific and intentional about that, and then I think the last stage is more like you kind of just quit and you'd rather bring out other people or whatever those are. It's
hmm,
something like that.
yeah.
Um, we all like at some stage usually go through some kind of like bloodthirsty phase, and I honestly believe that that's kind of like just primal, and it's just one of those stages of hunter development.
Like I shot a
But
turkey out of I've been turkey hunting 17, 18 years, probably at this point. I shot my first turkey the year I started the show, 17 years ago.
oh, nice.
Um, yeah, and I thought turkey hunting was so easy. We set up on this river in the Texas Hill Country. The landowner told me where the birds were roosting. I put out one strutter decoy. They flew down off the roost, shot it within 5 minutes. I was like, "Oh, this is the easiest thing. I love this. This is so easy." And then you really become a turkey hunter, and you're like, I don't know how these dumb things humble me, but they keep doing it over and over again. Um, but yeah, I think it was it was that spring I shot another bird, and I jumped out of the truck and shot it. I mean, it was on private land, but I was and it was illegal to do it. But I wouldn't do that today, and I probably wouldn't have done that 10 years ago. But then I
Yeah,
was like, I want to shoot it. I want to shoot it. Like, and I think that's completely natural. And now I'm at the point where I get a lot more joy watching my kids hunt than for me personally. Don't get me wrong. If there's a 150-inch deer walking around, my son is not shooting it. I am. But like anything else, like that's fine. I would much rather them shoot them.
I think you kind of just you sort of just inadvertently wrapped a bow on the topic. It's like at the end of the day, most of this boils down to personal satisfaction and what are you getting out of it? Like at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter to anybody else how you shoot your turkey. Like it literally has no effect
Well,
on
it
them.
shouldn't matter,
It
right?
should,
It
yeah, right. It
shouldn't.
shouldn't
Yeah.
matter. Like, and you're talking about, you jumped out of a truck and it was legal and all that stuff, and you were happy as shit, and you shot that turkey. Good for you.
Yeah.
Like, you're not taking away anything from anybody else, and you were happy with it. Now, when people do things and are immediately like, you know when you do something is wrong, or you know when you do something that is wrong because you feel the need to like hide it or not talk
Mm.
about it or that sort of thing. Like I think when people go to the dark side, they like knowingly fall into the trap with a devil on their shoulder and they do something that's wrong and they immediately regret it. Or like
Mm.
if you would have done that and just like grabbed that turkey and threw it in the truck, just been like didn't give a shit about it. I think that's bad. But either way, it's all personal. And like at the end of the day, the
You know what
only
we did with that turkey? There was it was me and my buddy and a third guy, another buddy. This was when I was in college. So I guess I have been turkey hunting longer than I've been doing the show, but I think I was a senior in college, and we took that turkey, and he slept in. We called and called him. He didn't answer. He wouldn't get out of bed. So we took the turkey, drove straight to his apartment. He was still asleep in his bed, hungover, and we threw the turkey on his bed. And we're like, get up and clean it, bitch. He kept one of the turkey legs, and at my bachelor party, he had made a necklace, and he had put the turkey foot on a necklace, and I had to wear it around just a random ass turkey foot and wear that around for my bachelor party. So he got me back.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, it's at the end of the day, you got to reckon with yourself and God, and
Mm.
everybody else is just kind of should be in the periphery.
Yeah.
Um, and I can tell you that God doesn't want to glorify any irreverence for creatures. I can promise you that.
For
So,
sure. Yeah.
does God dig the idea of someone getting off on a 250 frames per second gobbler's head getting chopped off for grins? Probably not. Probably
Yeah.
doesn't dig it. I'm not speaking for God, but that'd be my guess.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll give you one other anecdote, and then we'll move on. So, when I first started duck hunting, which is my first love, um, I had a lab in college, and I mean, we were eating up and watching Duck Commander DVDs every night. This is 20 years ago, right? 20 something years ago. This is before YouTube. I mean, the only way to watch Duck Commander or any waterfowl video is to buy the DVD and then watch it. And we would wake up before in the morning, put that on while we're making coffee, and we would go. Or sometimes we would just spend the
I
night at the
remember
lake.
my buddy had a VHS when I was still foolish enough to love waterfowl hunting. That was the same deal. We'd watch that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I mean, you have to be pretty sick in the head to enjoy the elements and the discomfort of duck hunting, which I still enjoy to this day. Um, but I got we wanted to limit out. We chased it hard, and we took pride in that, and that was our goal, dude. If I go on a hunt now and I shoot 3 ducks and my dog makes 3 great retrieves, I don't care about shooting a limit, man. It
Yeah.
just never even crosses my mind. If I get 6, that's great. If I get 3, if I get 1, and as long as the dog gets to go retrieve 1 duck, I'm like, that was a win. That was worth getting up for. So yeah, you totally changes. Um, as far as where all you hunted this year, I'm sure springtime brings inclement weather. I shot a gobbler in the hill country this year in a monsoon, and I've seen this play out where when it starts raining really hard, the turkeys don't want to be in thick cover; they want to be out in an open field. And I don't know if that's because they could see better and their hearing's affected if it's raining really hard, or why the reason for that is. But I've noticed that is what they want to do, which kind of seems counterintuitive, right? If it's raining, let's go get out in the rain. But
Yeah. Yeah.
so that's what we did, and ended up shooting a gobbler. Came in quiet and ended up shooting him. Um, but there's times when I've just like, oh, it's pouring. I've just slept in, you know. But I think you can kill them if you just know how to do it. What do you think is worse for turkey hunting, rain or high wind?
It's funny, my buddy Shane Simpson made a post about this year. Um, and I believe his vote on that was he'd much rather turkey hunt in high wind. I hate
Mm.
wind with a passion. I absolutely despise it. Um, a lot of times, unhuntable rain is paired with high wind naturally,
Yeah.
but I'll take moisture over wind any day. I just wind exhausts me in like in every way. Like it just feels like everything is much harder. It's harder to hear. It's just harder to be out there, just getting your face blasted and your eyes are watering and you're getting
Hmm.
windburn and all your shit's blowing around. Every time you open your truck door, something flies out. Like it just aggravates me. Um, and you just sometimes even when you're hunting turkeys in high wind, even if you get on them, they'll just like randomly spook because all of a sudden, a trash bag goes blown out of the ditch or something. Like it's just so unpredictable. So I'll take rain and moisture over high wind
Mm.
anytime.
Have you seen that? Like what I described is that they'll head for open cover. Have you seen that to be true?
Yeah, yeah, it's by and large you can pretty much count on it. Um, unless they can find an area that they're comfortable to be in where they do have cover, but they don't feel too restricted or too like limited. Everybody kind of hypothesizes that which makes sense. It's because of their senses and their ability to see is their number one. I'd say that's their number one thing, and their ability to hear is their second thing. So when it's raining, they're completely relying upon their vision. So it benefits them to be out in areas where they can at least see a threat coming. But I think another reason why they like to go out in open areas during rain, or especially right after rain, is just like with any other bird, pretty much. Turkeys hate being wet, and as soon as they can dry off, they're going to dry off and they're going to preen and they're going to put every single one of their feathers back into place so that they're protected. And so you can pretty much count on, even if they're not out there during the rain, they're going to go out into an open area to get sun and dry off. And I think also probably help protect themselves because when they're preening, they're kind of
Mm.
distracted. They're all up in their feathers, or they're using
Yeah.
their beak to put all their feathers back into place. Um, so I think that's part of the reason why they like to be in an open area. But
Well,
yeah,
the
if it's
rain also, I mean, it pushes up bugs,
for
worms,
sure.
all kinds of food. Once the rain stops, there's like a buffet on the ground, so that would also make sense. Like I think it's like a perfect storm of all these things is why they want to be out there, right?
Yeah,
Um,
no doubt.
but I will say I had the Cyclone jacket and pants, dude, for while I was sitting there hating my
It's
life.
phenomenal.
I hated my life until the turkey came in, and I was like, I'm so glad we didn't sleep in. Like
Yeah.
it was worth it. But yeah, so many times I've had, and even from high end companies that you wouldn't expect it, but waterproof. Sometimes it means water resistant, and it only is waterproof up to a certain extent, and then you're wet. And we put, I mean, it rained for 2 days, and we put that thing through the ringer, high and dry. So big fan of that. And then also we've got our Deviate boots too, which I felt I love them so much that I'm cheating on my snake boots, which in Texas probably isn't the smartest idea, you know. But if it's
Yeah.
raining, I mean, I'm wearing them, so
Yeah, both of those pieces are clutch. I was wearing the 13 inchers yesterday. And then there's also the deck boots. So I've been going between my 17-inch deviates. I've got insulated, uninsulated,
yeah.
17 inch, 13 inch, and then I've got the deck boots. And when I know there's not going to be a lot of dew or I won't have to do any creek crossings or anything like that, I've been rocking even just the little shorty deck boots. But yesterday I was wearing the 13s just because I thought we might have to cross some shallow water, which we did end up going through some just kind of muddy little potholes. And then the morning dew as well. Sometimes that'll get you more wet than anything. It's just if you're going through tall grass with the dew.
Hmm.
But yeah, and the Cyclone rain gear, I haven't worn like, just full disclosure, I haven't worn like super high end or what's supposed to be super high end rain gear like Sitka or anything. I've worn some pretty high quality stuff like Numa and some of the more expensive stuff from Cabela's back in the day. And I'm with you, like most of it ends up failing,
Hmm.
but the Cyclone stuff has been really, really awesome. And I also love wearing it when I was out in Montana with Will from Huntstand. We got a bunch of snow and it was just colder than shit. And I don't think any of us brought enough layers. And so we all got all ready in the morning. We were about to leave, and Will's a gear junkie, so he's always like super every little detail of whatever he's wearing or carrying with him. He's like geeks out on it.
Mm.
And we were about to leave, and he's like, "You're wearing your rain gear?" Because it had been snowing and stuff, and I'm like, "Yeah, dude. Like, I'm not wearing it because it snowed. I'm wearing it because it's like super insulative if you don't have other stuff. So a lot of times, like if I'm in a pinch and I didn't bring warm weather gear, I'll throw on rain gear just because it's so good at trapping the heat. You got to be careful with the moisture, like in
Mm.
terms of sweating too much and stuff. But usually, what I'll do if it's cold weather, I don't have cold weather gear with me, and I got my rain gear, which happens a lot during turkey season. Unexpected
Right.
conditions happen all the time.
Yeah.
I'll roll out there, like I'll run my rain gear unzipped. Like if I have to walk a long ways into a spot, I'll let my sweat kind of die off once I get into the spot, and then I'll zip up my rain gear and shit, dude.
Mm.
Sometimes it keeps you just as warm as having a nice insulated coat or pants.
Well, I mean, it rained so much on us that I had to. I was like, "Oh no, is this rain gear failing?" And then I just realized I was just cold because you could take it off and you can put your hand on the
Yeah.
inside of your jacket and be like, "Is there moisture? Is this stuff standing up?" And so many times it like our trail hunting in September get caught in a mountain, flash flood. Okay, well now my jacket, I've got water on the inside of my jacket. It went right through, and this is advertised as waterproof. But so I was like, I've been down this road before, and I was like a little skeptical. I was like, oh no, this is just going to be like everything else. But it wasn't. There was no water in there.
No, I love it for
So,
sure. I'm probably even gonna wear it. Now it's reluctantly for me. It's kind of fishing season. I just use fishing to kill time between hunting seasons. I'm not like
mm,
huge, huge into it anymore, but I'll be wearing it in the boat too because naturally I'll end up out there getting rained on when I'm fishing.
no. So which out of all those states, you hunted 8 states, did you get a bird in each one?
Yeah, yep. It was it was good. It's not always that way. There's been some nemesis states that I've had where I've had to go back a couple times. There's only one state I've had to go back to 3 times, and that was New York. For some reason, just
Huh.
I got turkeyed, man. Like I was in birds every trip, but one thing just there's always something. There's
Yeah.
always something. And it's not.
Mm.
I was hunting great places, lots of birds, all that stuff, but I just got turkeyed. This year, uh, yeah, we had a really good run. Got fortunate. South Carolina was hands down. Uh, I got very lucky the first morning. Now I had hunted South Carolina 10 or 12 or 13 years ago or something like that, and I never even heard a gobble.
Yeah.
This time I rolled in there, killed one right off fly down. I was like, oh, this ain't as bad as I thought it was or what people make it out to be. Like, because you hear a lot of stuff about some of those southern states. And then I
Hmm.
continued hunting with my brother for 3 days, and it was absolutely brutal. And then he continued to hunt after I left. He hunted 150 hours down there and didn't kill a bird.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
It's
Yeah.
uh it's tough, man. When people say they don't gobble, turkeys gobble. Everywhere you hunt, turkeys gobble. It's just a matter of how and when, how much they gobble and when they gobble.
Hmm.
I'm not saying they don't gobble. That's just not true with any population of turkeys. But
Well, it's like elk hunters, Colorado public land elk hunters, like they don't bugle here. Well, they do. Maybe not
yeah,
as much
probably at 2 in the morning.
as they do in New Mexico, where it's a draw system instead of over the counter. Any Tom, Dick, or Harry can come in and buy an OTC archery elk tag in Colorado. So there's 5x more hunters there. Yeah, I mean, decades after decade of pressure. Yeah, maybe they don't
Yes,
bugle as much, but they still bugle.
pressure, human pressure and predators. Uh, I mean, are certainly, and just yeah, a lower population density, declining numbers, all those things combined. And we were hunting some gorgeous, just amazing places. Like we weren't just hunting public land.
Hmm.
And after I shot that one bird, I was like, oh, this is going to be no problem. My brother will get his bird and we'll be happy and we'll go to the beach and drink beers. And no, wasn't the case. Wasn't the case. We hunted hard, like dark to dark every day. And then he continued to do that after I left. And it was humbling for sure.
So he's as eaten up with turkey hunting as you are.
Yeah. Yeah, he is.
Hmm.
He is. So he moved down to South Carolina in January from the motherland up here. And it was a tough transition.
Yeah. Well, I keep telling Will that you know we need to get on a turkey hunt together. So
For sure.
let's get that on the calendar for next year.
Yeah,
And
we
I'm fine
should.
to
We're
go
already.
somewhere else. I mean, I've hunted Texas so much. I'd love to do something different. So I'll invite myself. Might have
No,
to
we
ask
should.
you. Will's kind of uppity. He's like, I don't know. I mean, I was in Fredericksburg, and he was like, I think he was like just ending a hunt with some people, and I was like, all right, man, I'm here, And he's like, oh yeah, okay.
It
And
was
then
probably me, dude. Like I was down there.
no, I texted you. I was like, are you with Will? Because if you're with that son of a bitch, I'm gonna wring his neck. Uh, oh no, I love Will, by the way, and I think we are gonna. I think Will and I are gonna. We have a whitetail hunt in the works for this fall, but yeah, no, I want to. I mean, y'all are. I don't know about Will. Obviously, you're a very polished turkey hunter, so I mean, that's one of the things. Like, go with someone that is better at it than you and learn. So,
Will's a great turkey hunter. He's still spreading his wings, hitting new states, but he did wrap up his Grand Slam this year with me. So I was with him on all of his subspecies for his Grand Slam, which was
oh, nice.
really, I was happy to be a part of that. And that dog right now, that beautiful hide that you got there on your chair, he's doing that right now. He just texted me a couple hours ago and they had a real nice axis buck bedded at like 90 yards. And it was he sent me the clip and it was sleeping and it was a head bobbing like nodding off. So I don't know if he
Uh,
shot it. I think they were still trying to figure out exactly how big it was, but yeah, he's axis hunting right now.
is he bow hunting?
No, he's rifle hunting.
Okay.
He's rifle hunting. Yeah. And I'm looking forward to more updates. I supposedly they should be wherever he's at, they should be rutting pretty good right now. At least that was the
Hmm.
expectation. So
Right on. Well, as far as Huntstand goes, talk a little bit about how you use the app as far as scouting for turkeys? And I mean, that's a very broad question, but you could say this is a new property. I'm not super familiar with it, and because I think that's once you know the property, the app's still useful, but it really shines when you're like, well, this is a new place. How do I
Yeah,
use this technology to help me increase my odds of success?
man, it's so integral at this point. I mean, even yesterday, for example, I'm hunting properties, all properties that I'm familiar with. I mean, we probably hunted 6 different properties yesterday. Like I said, we hunted from dark to dark, and we were in birds all day. They just, as we're recording this, it's May 27, it was May 26 yesterday. Right around May 25th is when the birds up here kind of revert back to their summer pattern. So they're still out there kind of getting after it a little bit, mainly in the mornings, but they're starting to bachelor back up. The testosterone has dropped to a level where they're like, every once in a while it'll spike enough for them to do something stupid, but overall they're pretty hard to
Mm,
kill, as was evidenced by yesterday. I mean, we were in birds at fly down. We had birds gobbling for 2 hours straight after fly down. The next property we went to middle of the day struck one. Property after that struck one, went back to the roost, and then we were just trying to ambush them at that point. But
mm-hmm. Well, let me tell you,
point,
just to kind of substantiate what you're saying, I have not gotten a turkey strutting on one of my stealth cams in 2.5 weeks, right? And we're ahead of you. It warms up here. Our season opens mid-March, but I mean that makes sense, right? I mean exactly what you said. They're done doing the thing for the
yeah,
most part.
yeah. I mean, you can
Where
still
before that it
kill
was
them.
every day strutter, strutter, strutter. It's like I love it was like basically like deer season all over again. I'm just watching all these toms. I'm just
Yeah,
you can't beat it. And with the video
it's
quality,
fun. It's fun.
you can hear all of their vocalizations now.
Yeah,
It's pretty incredible technology.
I just switched over my cell cams that are still out there and still powered up. Um, I just switched them all over to video this morning. I was trying to conserve them a little bit more during the season, but now I'm like, all right, I'm going to try to get the last few clips I can
Mm,
of the remaining strutters and whatnot. So I flipped them all over to video this morning, just because I enjoy watching them and stuff even after the season is over.
sure.
Uh, but back to your question on Huntstand, dude, it's the whole time I'm out there, I'm referencing it. In real time, the main advantage is for terrain. Even if you're familiar with an area, it's easy to forget every little roll. So as you're trying to move around on birds, I defer to 3D all the time. Frankly, and I actually talked about this in a podcast that we did on e-scouting. Like, I've gotten better at being able to read topographical maps and contour lines and everything, but I grew up in relatively flat country, and
Mm,
I didn't start hunting more western states until like I was in my mid 20s. And so I guess I was kind of a late adopter of having to read contour maps. And so I've gotten better at it and I can read them pretty well. But then 3D came out and it's such a cheat code, dude. Like as soon as you flip that map into 3D, like there's really no reason to even look at contour maps anymore. But there are still things to be gleaned from contour lines. And one of the cool tips I like to offer people that you might not think about is in Huntstand, you can throw it in 3D as your base map, and then you can throw the contour line overlay over that. So you can see 3D plus the lines. So when you have the map flipped where it's just flat to 2D, you can see all the contour lines, and then as you rotate it with your 2 fingers to see the 3D view, the lines shift with it, so you can still see what those breaks look like and everything if you want the best of both worlds.
hmm
But while I'm out there, I'm constantly using that because sometimes it can be as you're approaching a bird, especially field birds, just the slightest little change in elevation can be the difference between being able to get in on them or not. And a lot of times, even if you're looking from a distance and you're watching a bird and you're glassing and you can see some of the terrain out there, You
Hmm.
know how it is. Like you look from a distance, it doesn't look like it's going to look when you're standing there. I mean, it's always going
Oh
to
yeah.
look usually it's going to look more subtle, and then all of a sudden you get down there and you're like, "Oh, I got plenty of room to slip around and hide." So, 3D helps me visualize that. And then, I mean, the property ownership stuff, of course, especially up here where everything's chopped up into 48, 80, 120 acre parcels. A lot of stuff doesn't have signs or fence lines even. When you're in the zone going after a bird, it can be really easy to not pay attention to where you are and accidentally walk into someone's property. So I'm
Mm.
I'm checking that thing all the time just because at this stage of life, I don't like to take any chances. I want to make sure I know exactly where I'm at. And frankly, a lot of times up here, if you accidentally walk into someone's property, they're probably not going to chew you out. They're probably not going to call the game warden if it's an honest accident and you're not out there trying to poach or something. But it's just not even worth it. It stresses me out too
Mm.
much. So I'm constantly looking at that property information.
I look at it
And
for a different reason. So when I was trying to find a new deer lease last spring and into the summer, you can see the property owner. Well, okay, a lot of times you can just get on the internet once you have their name, or a lot. I mean, here in Texas, a lot of companies own these. They hold on to these properties as investments, and you can find out who owns the company. Now, it did not result in me getting a lease, but I talked to probably 25 different landowners, and their answer was always pretty much the same. Man, I already have guys that lease the property, or
yep,
my family already hunts it. But one of them was like, but I do have a neighbor who I know is looking for some hunters. And so I ended up, talking to him, and I went and looked at the property. It wasn't the right property for me, but it is a great resource for that too, because it's
heck
hard to
yeah,
track down landowners, man. It's very
it
difficult.
is.
Yeah.
It is. And I shouldn't share this one, but I will. Something maybe I'm just a little slow, but I didn't think about this until my buddy shared it with me. We have like a turkey hunting Snapchat group with just a handful of people, and you can use Huntstand, figure out a lot of these prime pieces that you see. It's like an LLC owns it or something, and it's
Right.
like a PO box. You're like, oh shit, I'm never gonna find this person. And he posted a thing in our Snapchat of how he was using Huntstand to find the LLC name, and then going on the state government's LLC database, and then you can use that to get the contact information for who actually owns the LLC. And I was like,
Hmm.
dude, there's been a million times where I've had a piece that I want, or just a piece next to a place I'm already hunting, and it's like some random LLC. A lot of them are even out of state, and they're not there. It's just an investment property.
Hmm.
And I'm like, I wouldn't even know the first thing about how to find these people. And I talked to the neighbors, and they're like, I don't even know who owns it. We don't
Yeah.
know who those people are or what that business is. So that was one of my best tips I got this season.
Yeah. Well, and I will tell you, every one of those landowners I talked to, they weren't rude. They weren't mad that I was calling them about hunting. They live in a part of the world where that's the culture, west of the DFW Metroplex. And I'm looking to pay, right? I'm not asking like, hey, can I just come hunt for free? Which
Yeah,
I wish maybe we were born 30 years earlier and that was
right.
reality, right? But I'm offering to pay. I wasn't, and they're always receptive and nice, So it's a great resource for that as well.
Yeah, I love it.
And then obviously weather, you get all your updates on there, which weather is one of the main factors that affects hunting, affects wildlife movement, and of course with whitetail, paramount to know what's going on there, wind direction, and then of course all of the as far as whitetail goes, there's so much information on there. Sometimes it's overwhelming. I mean, you can find anything you want on the app.
Yeah, yeah. For
Peak
it's
rut
certainly
dates
it's
for
it's
your
catered
area.
for deer hunting for sure.
Mm.
The biggest new feature that we came out with this year before turkey season that I also used a ton while I was hunting out of state, especially out west where water sources are limited, is our water features overlay. And it'll show you if there's water somewhere, it's it's gonna have it on there. I mean, unless it's like a random puddle that just showed up or a pothole or something, like
Mm-hmm.
it's going to, if there's water, it's probably going to show it. And extremely valuable for turkey hunting because turkey populations just simply won't exist around areas that don't have consistent water. And then, of course, you know, already thinking about deer season, like it's one of the most overlooked things, especially up here where we have a lot of water. People just kind of don't think about it. But when you realize that there's different types of water and they like certain kinds of water sources more than others, it's very valuable. So I use it a bunch for turkeys, and as I'm mapping out my deer season for at home and out of state this year, I'm gonna do a mule deer hunt in Wyoming, cash in my points this year. So I'll be using that water features thing a shitload.
Mm-hmm. Mm. Um, One thing I noticed on my stealth cams this year, and seeing just we do have a couple wheat fields on one of my leases, and so more often than not, if you hang out there for the day, you're going to see a flock of turkeys in the field. But we had a really wet spring last spring, not so much this spring. Um, Dude, I have so many jakes. Like I'm so pumped for next year. We had a decent number of gobblers this year, but I mean, if all of these jakes hang around, I would have so many toms. Which,
Yeah, that's good to
yeah,
see for sure.
hmm yeah, it's definitely cyclical. And Jason told me, he told me in 2022, it was 2023, the drought was so bad that the hens didn't even nest across most of West Texas. Really,
Yep.
like didn't even try, and they were just in survival mode, and so they don't even attempt to nest,
Yeah,
which is you miss a whole year of recruitment there.
they know. I mean, they know it's different than deer. Like, yeah, deer, a doe will get knocked up, and maybe it won't be in the right condition to actually have a fetus develop and be able to drop a fawn, but it's still gonna go through that process. Whereas a turkey, and that's a whole nother interesting topic, but a lot of people don't know this, that hens can kind of just hold sperm from gobblers, and they can decide when they want to fertilize their eggs and drop their eggs, and if they don't want to, they don't have to. And so yeah, they don't have to nest, they don't have to drop eggs because it's a just like it is for a doe raising a fawn. It's a big resource suck on the body just to even be able to develop the eggs and drop them. So
Hmm
that's
Well,
one of the
that and then
coolest
then also when a hen is most likely to get killed is on the nest.
for
And
sure.
so if they're in their DNA somewhere telling them don't nest because if there's not enough turkeys, you can't get killed. You got to make it till next spring for the vitality of the population.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
their survival mechanisms are
Not bad for a dumb bird, huh?
astonishing. Yeah, for sure. I love them.
Yeah. Yeah. So as we're wrapping up here, we do have some new integration. Well, we have some new stealth cams coming out um, very, very soon, which I'm super stoked about. But there is some new integration with the Huntstand app as well.
Yeah. Well, the command integration in Huntstand is super cool. So for anybody who's listening, if you use Muddy or Stealth Cam cell cams, they're both managed through the command app, and then the command app syncs with Huntstand. So if you're a person who just likes to know where all your trail camera locations are at and be able to view them on the same map as all your other mapping that you've done in Huntstand, we've got that ability. So it's super easy. You just go right in through the app. You can add all your cameras directly out of command. It'll show them on the map as pins. And then you can just tap on each one and get a quick snapshot, look at the thumbnails, expand the images, etc. And if you want more detailed intel from the images, you can go into the command app itself. But if you want to just, if you're doing your e-scouting and you're surfing around the map and you're like, oh, I wonder if I got anything on that camera, boom, you don't even have to leave the app, so you can just stay in one environment. And the stealth cam launch, we both have kind of gotten the lowdown on what's coming with that, and stealth cam's been
Mm-hmm.
dripping it out on social media and everything. But some really cool AI stuff for people who are listening and haven't really tuned into what's going on. Probably the most sexy one is rack alert. So you're actually going to be able to use the command app with stealth cam, and when you get an image of a buck, it'll automatically detect that it is a buck, and it can send you a push notification so you know exactly when you're getting an image of only a buck. And to take that to the next level, stealth cam has the live view that was released last year, so you can watch a live stream from certain camera models. And the challenge with it has been you kind of just like got to catch it. So like if a buck shows up at a camera, you got to be paying attention.
Yeah.
If you want to look at the live view, let's say you got a buck hitting a scrape and you want to watch him hitting the scrape in real time. Prior to now, you had to just like make sure you check the notification right away and go into live view. Well, now you'll actually get a push to your phone. It'll be like, hey, a buck is at this camera, and you can turn live view on right away without having
Mm.
to miss the opportunity. So I'm pretty pumped on that one. And then a lot of it is like false trigger elimination and just making sure that you're getting
That's the one
more.
I'm super excited about.
That's huge,
Because
dude.
I
That's
mean, no matter
huge.
what, you're not going to get a camera that isn't going to take a picture of if this, especially if it's windy. You're going to get pictures
For
of
sure.
trees or grass. I mean, it triggers on movement, so it's going to trigger on that. And then on a super windy day, I might have 300 pictures of nothing, and now I'm not going to. So that makes that for me. I'm like, yeah, I'm excited about Rack Alert, but I hate having to sift through all those crappy photos of the landscape, right? It's the
Yeah.
same landscape every time. I mean, landscapes are cool. Don't get me wrong. Like, I love nature and all that, and but it's the same tree over and over again for hours on end on a windy day.
And like you said, it's unavoidable. There's not a camera out there that isn't going to give you some false triggers, especially from the random blade of grass or the tree branch or whatever. So
Hmm.
it has that setting, so you can just it'll use AI to be like, okay, there's nothing in the picture. It's just the it's just whatever you have it pointed at.
Mm-hmm.
There's not a deer in the picture. There's not a turkey in the picture. So it just will automatically not send you that picture. But then another option, if you want to have it more like customized and you're still worried about missing something or whatever, is the zone selection. So it'll actually break your images into a grid, and you can be like, ah, oh, there's that one freaking blade of grass that grew that wasn't there when I put the camera out in August, and now it's 3 feet, and on a south wind, it keeps waving into my camera and setting it off
Mm-hmm.
in the bottom left corner. You can just turn off the zone in the bottom left corner, and that grass isn't gonna rob you of your images anymore. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah. That and then one other thing, especially this time of year for me, is what I'm most interested now in is pictures of feral hogs. Right. So I just go into the camera, click on, it brings up the entire gambit of species options, click on feral hogs, boom. Now I'm only looking at images of pigs and I know when they're coming and then I'm waiting there with an AR.
I use that yeah, I use that species detection all the time too, especially like during turkey season. I mean, I
Yeah,
use it.
same.
I
Mm.
might as well just leave it on as my filter the whole time. I don't know. Actually, I don't know why I didn't think of doing that, but um, yeah, I'm constantly just going and adjusting that.
Hmm.
And for every season, like last year, I bear hunted in Wisconsin, and so most of my cameras, I'm getting hundreds and hundreds of pictures of deer. And I'm like, okay, it's not September yet. I'm not so worried about the deer, but every once in a while you get a picture of a bear, and That's all I wanted to see. So yeah, the species filter is sweet.
Hmm. I mean, I'm not going to say I get annoyed with deer pictures this time of year, but I almost do because I'm only interested in, well, it was turkeys until a couple weeks ago, and now it's basically full-time pigs. And I mean, I like knowing that deer are around, but they're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
So,
And the ones that are there now might not be there when you want to shoot them. So
yeah.
there's always that.
Yeah. Well, right on, man. Well, I appreciate the time. Congrats on a successful turkey season, and I look forward to inviting myself into turkey camp with you next year somewhere.
All right, brother. Appreciate you.
All right. That doesn't, I mean, I need a little more of a commitment. That didn't sound that firm. Like, you need to be like, all right, yeah, where do you want to go?
You'll realize that I'll probably have my entire 27 turkey season planned by like September at the latest.
Oh my
Um,
gosh. I don't know where I'm
yeah.
going from one week to the next during turkey season.
No, I've already got three of the destinations lined up for sure. But no, we'll figure something out because I'm planning on coming down to. There's not a lot of places I'm trying to go to as repeats, but I love Texas and I love hunting with Will. So at
Yeah.
minimum, I know we're putting something together down there. But if you're looking to do some kind of out of state adventure, we're talking about a western state right now that we might go check out, and we possibly might pair it with a black bear hunt.
For Merriam's.
Well, the state we're going to is probably all hybrids, but
Hmm.
um, honestly, I'd love to just go there and knock out a turkey and try to do a spot and stalk bear hunt because they overlap nicely.
Right on. Well, good stuff, man. I appreciate it, and I look forward to our next visit.
Thanks, dude.
Oh, I needed to ask you, how is the recovery from? I know you, and this is just if anyone listened to our last interview on um, Lyme disease, that still going well.
It's going pretty well. I've been feeling pretty good, and I don't think I got bit by any deer ticks this year. I tried to spray my stuff with permethrin pretty
Hmm.
religiously. I did get hammered by three wood ticks. Freaking, I don't know how they got through the barrier, but I had two like on my stomach. I was just laying there. I was like, "Oh, that's nice." Pulled those
Hmm.
off, and then I was sitting at breakfast one day with my buddy, and he's like, "Dude, what the hell is that?" And I'm like, he's looking at my hand. I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And I'm like, I'm going like this with my hand. I'm like, "What?" And you can still see the red dot. I
Oh
had
wow.
a freaking wood tick attached right here between my fingers, and I didn't even know it was there. And it was on there good.
Uh,
It wasn't just like crawling around.
yeah.
So
Hmm.
wood ticks aren't quite as bad, but now you've seen all the stuff going around with
Alpha gal.
alpha gal. Now that the
Yeah.
news is finally covering it after it's like basically too late.
Yeah.
That whole conspiracy.
450,000 Americans infected with alpha gal now. And when we were growing up, I never, I'm not saying that it didn't exist. I have heard people say, I got it in the 80s, but it was so uncommon. And we didn't worry about it when I was a kid. Like, nobody knew about that. But I'm having this
It's
fitness gal on in a couple weeks when I get back from Africa. Um, and she has combated it with acupuncture and other changes and pretty much so that everyone's like you'll never be able to eat red meat again. Well, they're starting to come up with treatments for it as this thing evolves. So there's hope on that, and we'll get into that in detail with her. But yeah, I'm glad to hear that
yeah.
recovery is still going well.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully this alpha gal thing, I don't know, something's gotta give. My buddy who I was hunting with yesterday, Alex, he's got it. But he
Mm.
he was able to pretty well kick it. So
Mm.
it depends on the individual and the treatment and all that stuff. But it's just
Yeah.
funny how this has been going on for quite a while now, and now the news has just decided to start to talk about it because I don't know what they're trying to distract us from or
Mm.
whatever. Plenty of things that they
There's
need to,
always
I guess.
something.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, all right, man. Appreciate it. Take care,
All
Josh.
right. Take it easy.
All right, bro.